Hello, my name is Hyper, and as some of you may know, I used to be a PokeMMO staff member. If you clicked on this video expecting some type of expose or me releasing all of the top staff secrets, I feel you may be disappointed. I am making this video so I can explain what happened with my demotion, my current opinions on the game, and what I will be doing going forward. I will cut up this video into 3 sections. You can go into the description and click on the sections if you wish to skip one. Although, with that being said, let's jump straight into my time as PokeMMO staff was interesting. I have a lot of fond memories and I enjoyed helping the community whenever I could, even the ones who despised me just for being on the staff team. I liked hosting the catch events, and a lot of the staff members I would consider friends. Those staff members were the thing that made being staff worthwhile, even with all the negatives surrounding staff, which I won't be going into too much in this video. What I do want to mention, however, is the reasons behind my demotion. On the 9th of July, I woke up to a DM from one of the admins saying that I was demoted from the staff teams with a list of reasons. In this video, I am going to go through them one by one and see if they're valid or not. The first reason they mentioned is that I was taunting a banned player with a barking dog gif. Yes, this is what he wrote. I sent this GIF on May the 13th. A user in Petrowski's Discord made a comment about him being banned for inappropriate comments in Global. I was not the staff member who punished him, and I posted this GIF of a rage-baiting dog as I thought it would be funny. I would say this is quite unprofessional, and I did taunt him even if I meant it as a joke. I still do not think this is grounds for a demotion, however, although it is up for debate. The second reason they gave me is that I was taunting Team Uxie numerous times. If you're new to the game, Team Uxie is a big PokeMMO team filled with a bunch of really good shiny hunters. While looking through Packcord, I mentioned Uxie a total of 19 times. I made jokes about them spamming those gifs, and I said Uxie's stock just plummeted, and that is all I said. I agree with the staff team that the jokes I made towards Uxie were unprofessional, and if some members of Uxie took them personally, I do apologise. I do think the reasoning is a little harsh though. I do not think me making jokes about a whole team should have this sort of reaction, especially when I am friends with people on the team. And to me, there were obvious jokes. Although this is up to opinion, you can look through all the comments I made about Uxie yourself on Packcord, as they are all still public. I do not think the comments I made towards Uxie would have even been classed as taunting, although the PokeMMO staff team disagrees and there's nothing I can do about that now. The third reason is me giving information about the capture system, including untrue claims about them being automated checks, teleport mechanics, sweet scenting after being TP, and others. This is where I start scratching my head a little bit, because I didn't do any of this. In Petrowski's Discord, some users posted videos of them getting teleported while shiny hunting. These are known as macro checks, and there's video proof of them happening. I joined in on the conversation as it was something that interests me personally. Although I knew nothing about macro checks, we were never told about them for obvious reasons, and therefore I had no information about them to give to people. Although, let's look further into the claims about what I said. When a user asked me if the checks are automated or manual, I responded with, I honestly do not know. That information wouldn't be public as all anti-cheat methods are kept hidden. I am not sure how they could have seen this as giving untrue claims about automatic checks. I literally said I do not know and I gave no information. But we can move on. The other claims about teleport mechanics and sweet scenting after being teleported, I am unsure what they're even referring to here. The only thing I mentioned about sweet scenting or teleporting is responding to a user complaining about being teleported onto an active sweet scent tile. I responded with, it would be pretty difficult to not realize you're encountering an entirely different Pokemon, and I am not sure how they'd fix that. Macro checks are a good way to test for macros in any MMO. I feel the only way I could have avoided this reason on my demotion was to avoid entering the conversation entirely. Although, if I need to stop interacting with the community just to keep my volunteer staff role, I do not want it anyway. The fourth and final reason for my demotion was that I was giving out untrue information that most bots are paydaying. This one baffles me the most, and it generally feels like they were just picking at straws for more reasons to demote me, as I can't see how they got to this conclusion. Someone in Packcord asked about the bot capabilities in this game. I simply responded that mostly payday or thieving stuff, although there is not many bots in this game. This comment is a known fact, Paydaying is a 4-click action. It is the easiest thing in the game to macro, and it blows my mind they're using this comment against me in any way. I even defended the game, saying there isn't many bots, although they still class this as a negative comment. Once again, I do feel the only way for me to avoid this being a reason in my demotion is to just not participate in the conversation. And if that's what I need to do to keep my volunteer staff role, they can go fuck themselves. These were the reasons they gave me. All the comments I made were made in Petrowski's Discord. You can go and see them for yourselves, as all of the comments are still public. I personally disagree heavily with this decision, although I really think as a whole this benefits me way more than me just keeping staff. The benefits do not come close to outweighing the negatives of being a staff member. I was a staff member for a year and a half. All the comments mentioned I made 2 to 5 months ago, and I was demoted overnight out the blue for reasons that I feel constitute a warning, if that, of which I never got. I do not know why they decided to scrape back through my 3,000 messages in Packcord for 4 mild at best reasons. Maybe I had some people reporting me, or maybe they really just do not want staff to have any sort of personality within the community. Those were the reasons. After this video, I probably won't be mentioning me being staff again or mentioning my demotion. I feel like I've explained everything here. Everyone has the right to their own opinion. If you feel like I deserve this demotion, that's on you. I personally don't, although obviously I will think that. So now let's move on to... This part of the video is going to be a little bit more ranty. I have not been able to express my opinions on this game openly due to fear of being demoted. Although now I don't have to worry about that, so I'm just going to let it all out here, and then I'm just not going to mention it again. This game has so much potential. It is my favourite game currently, but holy fuck are they doing everything in their power to slow it down. I do not think people realise how poorly this game is managed. Everyone is so used to them making bad decisions that it has become normal, when it should definitely not be fucking normal. This game has not had a meaningful update since February, when they released the worst seasonal update to date. This Shiny Wars is a copy-pasted event from last year with a custom texture as a reward. Modders have been making custom textures for this game for years. They paid some artist for a Charizard GIF and then called it a day. For what? Why couldn't they put in more effort? They haven't done anything meaningful in the past year. So what is taking up all of the development time? You could argue it's the upcoming route changes, although this is just changing a JSON document with spawn pools. It should not take a development team of 5+ people over a year to change a fucking JSON of spawn pools. The worst experience I've ever had in this game is when the devs decided to put out this stupid fucking AI post hyping up the Lunar New Year event. 18 new raids, they said, the best event ever made, just for it to be a fucking copy-paste of the same year's event with a few extra perm raids. There wasn't even 18 fucking raids released. Why did it take a whole year to make 3 perm raids? And why did they hype up the event when they knew it was just a copy-paste of last year? Why did they decide to make a meme out of it when they knew the community would not like what they made because it was the same fucking thing as last year? It genuinely makes no sense to me. I obviously did not know this post was being made until it was already on the forums, and it was the most embarrassing thing when people DM'd me asking me why the devs do this, because representing a game that is this incompetent was genuinely embarrassing to me. So why would I be staff, you ask? I wanted to help the community in any way I could. Even when the developers and higher staff were making these huge mistakes every chance they get, I wanted to at least do what I could to help the community. Although with that responsibility taken away, I'll just go back to managing my own website and using that to help the community in any way I can. Now that I am no longer staff, I am going to be focusing more on just playing the game. I will go back to uploading more videos, more shiny reactions, streaming on Twitch maybe. My main focus will be on my team, Team Synergy, who's accepting applicants right now if you're interested, and the Synergy MMO website. I do think me being demoted was fucking stupid, although I do think it's a blessing in disguise. I am able to enjoy the game again like I used to, and in my opinion, it's their loss, not mine.